rise again to glory then, soar into the sky. If you stop and see, and you just might believe, we're unstoppable, powerful, enough to beat the odds. If you love me, you will see the flames inside of me.
Welcome back to Seduce Me! It's over 100 degrees in my room, which I am recording in right now, and I have no air conditioning whatsoever, so I'm butt-ass naked. No, I'm just kidding, I'm not. But I am wearing the taupe. And the shh in the background is my fan. That's not aimed towards me. It's aimed towards nothing, actually, which kind of sucks. Let's load and continue. I just told you a lot of stuff that you don't need to know. Why does this sound so low to me? I guess that'll work. I don't know, it just sounds so low to me. Probably because of the stupid fan in the background. Oh, right! Everybody has a wife, apparently. Except for Damien, because we never got to that. I watched as the boys and the girls finally planted themselves on the ground before looking around. Damien's eyes locked on me and hurried towards me. Fuck, Damien! I didn't mean to do that. I swerved around Diana and rushed to Damien, meeting him halfway and wrapping my arms around him tightly.
I'm so glad you're safe.
What's going on, dude? I took in his scent, his warmth. He was here in my arms, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. Damien seemed to feel the same as he wrapped his arms around my form and buried his face into my shoulder. Give me a squeeze. I tightened my hold on Damien, silently expressing my love and happiness at seeing and feeling him again. He squeezed back lovingly, peppering my neck with kisses. Diana's not impressed. Not impressed at all. As Damien and I had our moment, his brother stared on. Matthew very upset. Everybody's very upset. His brother stepped up near us, almost in a protective circle. Sam, however, moved towards Diana, glaring hard.
You've got 10 seconds to explain why she's here, bitch.
Whoa, Sam, okay, calm yourself.
I'm going to ignore that insult for the sake of the bride. However, I wasn't the one who brought her here.
You're such a terrible liar.
I turned to see Matthew and Sam standing in front of me, and Damien ready to attack Diana. The succubus in question, however, seemed unfazed by their attempts at intimidation. Guys.
Did she bring you here?
No, I swear. What? Turning my head back to Damien, I saw a serious look in his eyes. I had only seen that look once before, when Diana had confronted me and showed me his past. I shook my head. No, she didn't bring me here. It was the Demon Lord!
I beg your pardon?
Whoa, James! The first word I hear out of you is like, huh? All crackety and...
Are you sure?
Quickly. Positive. I stared at Damien, seeing something in his eyes, and with an angry flame that was quickly growing. His hold on me tightened as he looked at Diana.
Why did he bring her here?
Diana's scared now. I looked over to Diana, knowing that she would explain, but I was surprised to see her flinch back at his expression. Was she scared? Shaking her head, Diana cleared her throat, and looked back to Damien, settling back into their uncaring gaze.
He wanted to lure you all back, knowing that at least you, Damien, would chase after her, and the others would follow. Obviously, his plan worked.
My keyboard is sticky for some reason. Hold on a second. That's weird. I don't like that at all. Okay. This time it was the boys who flinched in surprise, feeling the weight of her words. However, Damien... Sorry, I'm trying to wipe off whatever's on my keyboard. Damien gathered himself and spoke up again.
Well, thank you for keeping her safe. We'll be...
She can't leave.
And why not?
Shit, fuck, okay.
She's been cursed by the Demon Lord. She can't leave unless she dies or until we kill him.
You plan to kill him?
We're obviously not going to choose the former. We've been fighting the Demon Lord for 10 years now.
Whew.
Might as well have another reason to kill him.
Oh, just add that one to the list. My eyes looked to Damien, wondering what he was thinking. Diana then tried.
However, it will take some time to plan out our attack. We can't just walk into his castle and slit his throat.
True. Damien finally looked back to me, staring into my eyes as if he was trying to find some sort of response. I stared back, trying to find some hint of about what he was thinking. about in his eyes. What he was thinking about in his eyes. He slowly leaned forward and kissed my forehead before turning his head back to Diana.
How much time do you need?
1 week.
I shot my head towards Diana in surprise, as did the rest of the occupants in the room. Seriously? 1 week? Seriously?
Where is this number coming from, Succubus?
We need to fully prepare ourselves for the final stage, which I'm certain will only take a couple of days. We've pinned him into a corner. The Demon Lord will fall.
Are you sure?
That's rather bold to assume.
Yeah.
She's right, though. We can prepare everything in that time frame, right?
And if he does the same and attacks us before then?
He won't.
I watched as Diana walked over and cleared the table of other materials they had gathered for the gate spell, revealing a physical map of the Abyssal Plains. She pointed to a spot on the map, a peninsula surrounded by water labeled as the Decaying Sea.
We'll cast a barrier spell along the edge of the peninsula and around the castle. He and his army won't be able to move from that spot until we break it ourselves, which will be during the siege.
Where would we get the energy needed for that kind of spell?
We won't be using energy.
I just realized that guy's pretty much her sex slave, which makes me giggle. Did I say that already? I feel like I did, but it's just still funny. The other rebel demons in the room suddenly tensed up, staring at Diane in surprise. What was she going to do?
My lady, you're not suggesting...
The Demon Lord has shown how far he is willing to go to win this war. It's only fitting to show the extent we'll go to in response.
Okay.
As much as I agree with you, this seems a little rash.
What?
What are you guys talking about?
I don't understand!
Are they allowed to know?
I plan to put a barrier curse around the Demon Lord's castle and army. It's temporary, so it won't need the blood of 1,000 demons. But it will need the sacrifice of at least one demon life.
You're not touching my precious babies. You touch them, I hurt you.
And I assume you'll be sacrificing one of my soldiers.
You know, as long as it's not one of the babies.
Is this our only option?
He's got a nice watch.
There are other options, but they will most likely take a lot of energy to pull off.
It just depends on what we want to do. If we want to do this immediately, then the barrier curse is indeed the best option.
I'm not opposed to performing the curse. As rash as it is, it will make our lives easier in the long run.
You expect me to hand over one of my men? My soldiers joined the rebellion to kill the Demon Lord, not to get their throats slit before even seeing the final battle?
It's wrong, but can we really afford to spend any more energy? Diana already spent a lot trying to send the human back.
What is the other option?
Sorry, spaced out. The rabbit woman and the fairy moved towards the map and pointed at the peninsula.
We could form tall rock walls around the castle. Box him in.
It will take a lot of our energy, but we can recover in that week period.
And what will stop the Demon Lord from tearing down the walls?
Good question.
I can imbue the walls with holy magic.
Boy, there ain't nothing holy about you. Thank you, bye, and I looked at him. All of us equally surprised. A demon with holy magic, how?
How the fuck did you get holy magic? You look and smell like a demon.
How the fuck? The guard held up his wrapped hand, letting the bead around it jangle with the sudden motion.
I've had the ability to use holy magic ever since I was taken in by my lady's family. There's no doubt that I am a demon, but I can't recall how I gained this ability.
I'm special. How is holy magic different than demon magic?
It's white magic. Unlike demon magic, holy magic isn't so finicky. Think of it as warding or dispelling magic. You can't bless air or anything that doesn't have physical form, but you can bless objects to fight back against other forms of magic.
Okay.
If the walls were blessed with holy magic, the Demon Lord wouldn't be able to escape until we released him.
Why not just trap him forever?
That's idiotic. He would still be a threat regardless. Holy magic doesn't last forever. And stone will crumble eventually.
Stop being so naive, boy.
He's right. We wouldn't be able to keep the walls up forever.
The situation be... Wait, why would we trap him forever anyway? He'd still be alive and I'd still be stuck here. Matthew, use your head. The situation became more and more complicated, and the more we discussed it. How were we going to go about this?
We can't just sit around and debate this forever. The longer we wait, the more we risk him striking back at us.
But is it worth killing someone to trap him?
When we finally strike, we will lose hundreds, if not thousands, of soldiers anyway. What difference will it make to lose one more life on top of this?
Soulless fuck.
Woo!
We can still cage him in.
Bit my lip. It was a really tough decision. A curse or a trap, which was better? Both had their prices, but we had to choose one. From the look of it, no one wanted to speak up, so I felt the urge to say something. Maybe I would be the one who would determine everything. But which method would be the best choice? Trap him! Everyone... Better than the tyrant. Awesome. Everyone in the room looked at me as I finally spoke up. Calm down, everybody. We need to be better than the Demon Lord, who was willing to sacrifice lives to trap me here, but it only showed how desperate he was to win, and how little he valued life. He would lose this war one way or another. It wasn't worth losing someone who could help turn the tide of the war. When can you put up the barrier?
We can leave after this, meeting is over.
Are you sure this is the best choice?
Don't make me second guess myself. I'm not good at making choices. The curse isn't the only option. We need to show that we're better than him. Everyone nodded, some in reluctance while the others did with confidence. I looked at Diana just in time to catch a twitch from her visible eye. But she shook her head and looked to the rabbit women.
Are you quite positive this will work?
I am very certain. Since it will be just 3 of us going, we can shadow travel there and be back by the morning.
Diana looked at her guard and nodded.
Very well. If you believe it will work, then I trust you will make sure it does.
As the guard nodded and slightly bowed, the other demons seemed to let out a sigh of relief and a hiccup. Were they worried about performing the curse? Diana shook her head before crossing her arms and looking directly at me.
So, since you'll be here for a while, we might as well give you names that you can use to refer to everyone here.
Okay.
Are we getting human names?
Yeah, look at here!
Must we?
You must! Diana rolled her eyes and gestured to the demon, naming them on the fly.
For the sake of time, we'll use simple names. This is Rabbit, our magic advisor. Sergeant, commander of our armies. Shadow, leader of our assassins. And Faye, our nomadic force ambassador.
Wow, really great names.
Sergeant, I'm a commander, succubus. Shouldn't my name be Commander?
Oh dear God.
It's easier on the tongue, though, to say sergeant.
And commanders wear pants.
My lady, what shall they call me?
Sex life? Diana looked at Saro for a moment before turning toward me and looked, a look of seriousness emanating from her eyes.
You may call him Saro. He is my personal guard, and he is always by my side.
Sado. Remember that, Sado. Almost said Seto. The other demons and Sado seemed to be surprised. Was Seto his true demon name? Why would she give me his true name?
Are you sure?
Call him only if your life depends on it. Do not abuse this permission.
Okay. Her eyes seemed to burn as she gazed into mine, full of hard intent and warning. I mentally nodded her seriousness as she ran her hand through her hair.
Now that we have a plan and introductions are out of the way, I believe we can end this meeting. We have a lot to accomplish in 1 week.
We do?
What about us? You don't expect us to sit around.
Well, Damien can't really do anything, but I guess you guys can.
Actually, I do. You all don't belong on the battlefield.
Oh!
Excuse me? Just hold on a...
I will not take untrained and unarmed beings into a war zone.
And a bitch like you. Hold on! I interjected, stepping forward and crossing my arms with Diana. She seriously wasn't going to make us stay back while she fought the Demon Lord, was she? What the fuck can you do? You're in a wedding dress. I don't know. That's not fair, I guess. No, we can fight too. Diana squinted at me, pressing her lips together into a fine line. However, I meant what I said. We could fight too. No, you can't, bitch!
You expect me to trust that you can fight in a war?
No, I just said it because I wanted to sound heroic.
Let me and my brothers train then. We're demons, for fuck's sake. We know how to fight.
Watch your mouth, Sam. The boys stared at Diana as she turned her head towards Sam. He was right, though. They knew how to train so that they could fight. If they fought with the rebellion, there would be a better chance of winning this war.
You all realize this is a war, correct? You can die here.
We understand completely.
No, James stays here. He stays here. He's got jobs to do.
We know what the risks are.
I can't even read your name. Who are you? Dana could only stare at our group as we challenged for proclamation. I wrapped my hand around my fiancé's arms. That probably will never be. Frightened of the idea of participating in war, but knowing that we needed all the strength we could muster to finish off the Demon Lord. What can Damien do? He's about as useful as I am. This was the only way that I could go home. Defeated, Diana sighed and rubbed her temples.
Very well. I can't exactly keep you here like prisoners, so it will be up to you if you choose to train for battle. However, I highly suggest just staying here and allowing us to handle it.
No, seriously, who is that chick, though? Who are you married to? I don't even know. I nodded as the others. This was really happening. We were going to kill the Demon Lord, and we had 1 week to either prepare for war or wait it out. Diana turned towards me and looked down at my outfit. I knew forgotten that I was still in my wedding dress until Diana pointed at my chest.
Lumen infere, bellum tabescere.
What? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I stared at her, unsure of why she was speaking in Latin. Oh, it's Latin! Until I felt the fabric around my body shift and change. I quickly looked down to see my wedding dress morph into an outfit that looked perfect for the demon world. I said war. The white top shifted into a long-sleeved, oversized tunic with a leather corset and a vest. While the bottom part of the gown split and wrapped around my legs, forming into dark leggings. My shoes stretched into knee-high boots.
Hey, you look really nice.
Who the fuck is Carrie? Who's Carrie? Carrie, who are you? Why am I speaking like this? Get out of here, Carrie. I don't know why you're here. I blushed, getting used to the feel of the outfit. The corset wasn't tight, but it was something new along with the rest of the garb. Damien smiled and wrapped an arm around my shoulder, hugging me to him.
You look really nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Faye, Rabbit, you both should finish your preparations and head over to the Demon Lord's castle for the spell.
How are you going to get there?
I'll get us there, no problem.
Alright.
Just make sure we don't get stuck there or lost.
No promises.
Zero, make sure the job is done.
I shall, my lady.
Sado, Faye, and Rabbit begin. Sado, I love saying that. Begin to make their way out of the room as Diana turned to me and my group. As I left, Diana let us smell sign.
I will take you to some rooms you may rest in.
Thanks.
What? Wait, Sam's saying that. Sam, say thank you. Yeah, thank you, Diana. God damn it, Sam, I had to do it for you. Diana merely nodded and led our group out of the room towards our new temporary rooms. I feel like we're in a dungeon. The walk to the room was filled with awkward silence. What were we supposed to do here? Damien and I were both human. Well, yes, we both knew we'd have to help in the war. Oh my god, I cannot even speak. It wasn't a demon anymore. I grimaced, feeling the nervousness of the situation take hold of me. This was going to be a rocky adventure. Who knew what would happen, what to expect? Fucking hiccups. I could only guess time would tell. Fucking hell. I gripped Damien's hand harder, letting my nerves sink in. Naturally, Damien smiled and kissed my forehead.
It's okay. Everything will be alright, I promise.
But... I nodded, but some part of me was still fearful, despite his reassurance. We were in the demon world. Humans in the demon world. I was worried what would become of Damien now that he was in his home plane as something he wasn't born as. Oh. I looked up at Damien, seeing him focused on our following guide to get us to our room. I was curious. What? How many times has that happened? I'm sorry, but the Pokemon theme song just decided to play on my tablet, and I'm just gonna put that away. I don't know how many times that went off. But I am so sorry if I was reading and the Pokemon theme song just started playing. That's great. Anyway, I was curious what was going through his mind. I was sure he was worried when I was taken, but please don't play again, I'm begging you. But now that he had me back, what was he thinking of now? For a moment, I briefly wished I had his mind-reading ability. I wanted to know what went through Damien's mind at everything we did, at every step we made, every step you take. I'll be watching. I don't know. At every event that came along the road. Feeling my stare, Damien turned his head and looked down at me, furrowing his brows in confusion.
What is it?
I don't know. I lightly bit my lip. Did I want to tell him what was on my mind? I had to verbalize my curiosity. Damien took in the question before turning to the hall once again, frowning a bit.
I think it's a really bad situation.
Yeah, no kidding.
You're trapped here, and I'm human, so I can't do much to help in the war.
That's kind of your fault. Wait, no, it's my fault. I just realized my Bandicam's not even lined up with the game. Okay. As Damien squeezed my hand, however, I felt my heart flutter a bit.
Still, I want to help and bring you back. I'll do everything I can to send us back home.
You'd make a very cute frog. Damien. I naturally hugged his arm to me, causing him to gasp a bit. You're my arm. And look over, a faint blush running across his cheeks. He was so adorable and I absolutely loved him. Whatever drew him to me made my heart feel absolutely lucky to have him. You know what drew me to him? My friggin' friends nagging me to play his route. That's what drew me to you! As we reached a room, I took in the ambassador room I had claimed the night before was officially sanctioned for me and Damien. Did I even read that right? The others were given rooms in other parts of the castle, so we had some space to ourselves. Stepping in, I took a seat on the bed, feeling mild exhaustion sweep over me. However, Damien looked around the room in a slight awe. I tilted my head, wondering why. Damien stepped around the room, looking around and observing every piece of decor. As he got to the mantel, he looked almost stunned to see the design and architecture of it. Huh. It was almost like watching a little kid walk into a museum. Damien? My voice caught his attention, causing Damien to jump up and look at me in surprise. As he calmed down, he rubbed the back of his neck in nervousness.
Sorry, I've never really been in a room like this before, so this is a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, same was for me too. Really, what kind of room did you have? I stared at Damien in shock. I really never saw a room like this? We were in the demon world, though. How could have this not been familiar to him? I was positive that he would have at least seen a room like this in his time here. Jesus. Damien shook his head and replied,
I never had a room growing up.
And depression sets in. My heart suddenly crumbled in my chest. I knew that Damien was the mistreated bastard son of the demon lord, but fucking get out of my way! Fly! The demon lord, but not to have a room? That was almost cruel. I couldn't help imagining Damien sleeping on the cold marble floor of the grand hall, or even in a cell. My soul began to weep for him, but I knew that it was just better to ask him about his experience than assume the absolute worst case. Oh, my hands hurt now. I was trying to catch a fly that kept buzzing in my face.
Well, demons don't sleep at all, actually.
What? Why, though? That made absolutely no sense. What? They don't? Why do they have beds and stuff, then? Damon blushed a bit with a grimace across his lips.
Well, other than having, sex, demons rest. Like lying down and reading or something like that, but demons never close their eyes for long. It opens them up to being taken advantage of.
Then how the heck do demons function? My eyes twitching. Oh,
With
God.
energy and food. As long as a demon has both, or at least one or the other, they can keep functioning without needing to sleep. Lying down simply lets them stop using their energy.
Then what about in the human world? Were you and the others pretending to sleep? Damon shook his head, driving another confused wedge into my brain. What? Demons could sleep then, but only if they wanted to. But they absolutely didn't need to, so they didn't have to? Damien laughed a bit at my confusion.
When we went to the human world, we got to experience sleep for the first time. It was so good for us, and we felt relaxed, so we kept at it, like regular humans. Besides, the risks we had here are not the same as the risks in the human world.
Taken advantage of. There was still a lot I had to learn about demons, apparently. Not that I needed to know, but my curiosity about them grew the more I learned about them. Damien smiled and walked over to sit beside me and kissed my cheek.
I think we'll be safe to sleep, though. This is Lilith Castle, after all.
Lilith Castle? Castle? Lilith Castle is later than they. Fucking shit. With a nod, Damien pointed over to the mantle, tracing through the air at the marks of the stonework.
If I remember right, James told me about the first succubus, Lilith, and how she gave birth to incubi and succubi from this very castle. Diana is her descendant, so she now owns this place.
Wow. So Diana really was a princess. I was a bit surprised to confirm that. But in the end, it made sense. She had an attitude of one, that was for sure. Damien wrapped an arm around my shoulder and smiled.
At least we'll get some good sleep tonight.
Giggity. Yeah, sorry. I could feel that we would be okay in our room. The castle was well fortified from what I knew, and Diana seemed to be on top of making sure everything ran smoothly, as did the other rebel leaders. Everything was like a well-oiled machine. I leaned my head on Damien's shoulder, letting out a schmo shy. I'm sorry.
Huh? For what?
I looked up at Damien, remembering that I had been gone the entire day. I must have worried him sick and made everyone else go crazy at my absence, not only from the wedding, but from the entire human world. For going missing, I was gone for a whole day. Damien stared at me for a moment before smiling and kissing my forehead.
Were you really here a whole day?
Was I? I furrowed my eyebrows, staring at him and trying to figure out if he was joking or being serious. Seeing my expression, Damon let out a small laugh and hugged me to his side.
To me, you were only gone for about 4 or 5 hours.
That's like a whole shift. Wait, what? That could not be! There was no way that I was gone for that short period of time. I remember sleeping in this room, going through an entire day of being in this world, and trying to remember to get home to him twice. That definitely did not add up. With a small smirk, Damien released me and placed his hand on my head.
Time runs differently between the human and demon world. A whole day here is about 5 hours in the human world. You weren't gone very long.
But I was gone for a good amount of time. My jaw dropped. Even time was different here. This world was full of surprises. I felt myself hold my cheeks and try to take it in. Whoa. How'd everyone react? Everybody react? Wow. Different language there. How did everybody react? Damien frowned a bit and gently wrapped his arm around me, hugging me fully to him and resting his head on mine.
We were all worried sick about you.
Yeah. There's flies back. I can only imagine what Damien went through in those 5 hours. When I didn't arrive, what was the first thing he did? What was the first thing anyone did? I felt guilty, but I also knew that what happened was out of my hand. Only I have to. Damien let out a small sigh and kissed my head.
When you
we
didn't
sigh a
show
lot.
up, we sent the girls to find you while my brothers managed to wipe everyone's memories and delay the wedding for a couple of days. We didn't know how fast it would take us to find you.
Oh, good. So nobody thinks less of me. Damien's grip tightened around me as he pulled me even closer to him.
I had to rely on my brothers to find you. There was no clue where you were taken, so I had to sit and wait until they managed to locate you, here. Then we came.
With your wives? Then you came. I don't know what I want to do. Brace would be hugging, lying in his arms would be... Which one will give me the sexy time? I don't know. I was stunned by the love I was given by Damien. Despite being human, he traveled through the gates of the world to try to find me. I was lucky to have a loving man like him. My only regret was being in this world instead of at the altar with him. I wrapped my arms around Damien and pressed my forehead to his shoulder, closing my eyes and taking in his scent and love. Eventually, Damien pulled away and stared down at me with a tired smile.
We should get some rest. There's a long week ahead of us.
But sexy time! No! I nodded agreement, knowing exactly what he meant. We slowly crawled under the bed and snuggled into each other's arms, embracing the darkness of slumber once more. As sleep woke me, a thought ran through my mind. What would happen? Obviously, the boys would fight in the war, but what about Damien? He was indeed a human and had no abilities to use as such. Then again, maybe he could still use magic as a human. Carrie was able to do so, and she was human. Who the fuck is Carrie? But she was a witch trained in magic. Damien's abilities came on the demon side, which he no longer had. How would he fight then? The question floated around in my mind in my dream as I drifted into a calm, peaceful sleep. I have never been so confused.
Why can't I sleep?
I don't know, but that really creeped me out. I'm gonna end it here, guys. Damien's creepy. He's creepy. He's my least favorite. That's what I have to say. I'll see you guys next time.